Ni hao, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout, the YouTube show where you subscribe for the latest and greatest updates in the cryptocurrency universe. Today, we will be discussing Cardano and, in a broader sense, the future of Bitcoin. And of course, I'd like to talk about a couple of the more relevant information. Of course, in this channel, we always like to talk about things in a broader context and take a look at the future based on current events and, of course, what we can extrapolate as far as the future of these things go. But I want to talk about what's happening in real time as well as the future prospects a little bit later on in the video. This is a funny tweet to start off with. Spotted crypto exchange on the streets of America. It's interesting. Armenia and hell, I think this is what grassroots cryptocurrency advocacy is all about. Just spreading the word, putting the Bitcoin logo in front of people's faces, and of course, getting that crypto news out to the public. And that's sort of what this channel is entirely based around. Now, whether you're a XRP or whether you're a BTC, whether you're a ADA, TRX, any LTC, Ethereum, you can name any cryptocurrency, anything in the world, and you're in the same boat as us Bitcoiners. Whether you hold any or not, we're all essentially tied together by the fate of this number right here. And it'll be interesting to see how a lot of these different aspects continue to play themselves out. An interesting tweet by Pomp right here. Every morning I write a letter to more than 37K investors about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency industry. Knowledge is power, and the best investment you can make is in yourself. Subscribe here to blah 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 blah. But still, I think that when it comes down to it, he pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. Knowledge is power. Do your research, everybody. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to give you any sort of advice along that line. I'm merely here to tell you the best and the worst of my perspective. And when we see people like Mark Cuban and all these others, I know Warren Buffett has notably been an individual who came out and said something similar. Mark Cuban says he'd rather have bananas than Bitcoin. Sure, that's probably why he's got some stock in bananas or whatever, and I'm sure it's working out pretty well for him. But so Shark Tank investor Mark Cuban has been on to hide his opinions, especially when it comes to cryptocurrency. And the billionaire said he would rather have bananas than Bitcoin. In September 27th, I could eat bananas. Bitcoin is not so much, Cuban said in response to being asked why he, quote, hates crypto. Cuban compared Bitcoin to baseball cards, comic books, and artwork, yada yada. Similar sort of narrative that we see being strung by wealthy people who seek to gaslight, I'd say, and it sort of overlook the tangibility of what digital gold actually means, the significance of blockchain, none of which have intrinsic value, he said, and there is less you can do with a Bitcoin than a baseball card. For example, you could put a baseball card in your bike and it'll sound like a motorcycle. You put a Bitcoin in your portfolio. It's a digital asset, so I don't really know what he's getting at there. I think that's honestly something that's going in Bitcoin's favor. Of course, you could burn a dollar bill; it'll give you some warmth, but that Bitcoin can never be burned. So, there's a pro and a con in all aspects of it. But crypto is so complicated for 99% of the population. He said, do you put it in a device? Do you print it out? How do you keep it from being hacked? Who going to host it for you? A Cuban said. And I bring this up. Usually these sort of FUD articles just go right over my, right across my table, and I don't give a shit about them. But I bring this up because he does touch upon a key aspect of cryptocurrency. The fact of the matter is that 99% of the people just can't manage a public and private key. They don't understand wallets. They can't attach their bank account, or they can't be bothered to make a Coinbase account. And it's this very reason alone that essentially is going to separate those of us who are driving Lambos in 5 years and those of us who are wishing and wondering why we didn't just put in a little bit of know-how. And then eventually at some point it'll be so easy to acquire. It won't actually take any sort of learning curve. I think that Cuban is he's right in a large sense, but I think that he's misguiding intentionally so that he can fill up his wallet. Anyway, Cardano. I think that when we want to talk about Cardano, we need to first put it into some context. Bitcoin being, of course, digital gold, the introduction of this whole space, letting the cat out of the bag, and Pandora does not go back in the box. Now, of course, we look upon Ethereum to see, the natural progression, of course, expanding upon that original concept and bringing us to essentially, smart contracts. And then, of course, it brings me, I think a natural, logical sequence of events does bring us to a technology like Cardano, which will be very interesting to see how Cardano and the goals that they've set forward for themselves. I think it does separate them very much from the rest of the cryptocurrency herd. And overall, I think that we could expect to see some very interesting things happening. As far as Cardano goes, I think that people often overlook Cardano. And I think that people in 2020 are going to be very much surprised when they get hit, in the back side of the head and don't actually realize what they had been sleeping on. So I'm going to read this article right here. 2020 will be the year of proof-of-stake. Blockchain finally breaks out. Maybe two of the industry's most hotly anticipated POS networks are scheduled to relaunch in Q1, namely Ethereum Cardano, the second largest blockchain platform in the world by market capitalization. Ethereum has been looking to shift to its POS since 2014. Co-founder sees POS as key to Ethereum reaching maturity. Ethereum 1.0 is of course, people's scrappy attempt to build the world computer. Ethereum 2.0 POS will actually be the world computer, he said. And, of course, only quoting here, but, the part goes on to, Cardano, rather than launching a new POS system, is looking to update its own pre-existing POS platform as a public network. Of course, I think, this quote right here is very interesting as well. There's probably 5 or 6 what we call large market size, of course, POS coins, and Cardano is one of them. It's why we got into the business. All these big, exciting projects are either moving to POS like Ethereum or launching with POS like Cardano. And of course, Cardano is a test case, and I'd recommend that you guys go and check out this article. I'm not going to have enough time to actually go through word for word, but this part here is important, so make sure you watch to the end. Cardano is running a test case of viability of POS systems for a global audience. Hoskinson himself, one of the initial co-founders of Ethereum, said the past 2 years of search and engineering have all been leading to this point, rather than relying on external computational cost and energy to power the network. As with POS systems rely on internal incentive mechanisms to encourage user participation, coordinating the right amount of network rewards versus penalties to keep the POS blockchain running smoothly. And security has taken years of academic research to get to right now. Speaking to Hopkinson's long roadmap, creator of POS blockchain, he just says, so I can tell you for the fact it's extremely unromantic and extremely unpleasant to watch a proof-of-stake network evolve. It's excruciating, hard to task, which a POS network or the launch of POS network. The reason why is because there's so much more coordination costs, more anything else, and I think that And it does definitely hit the nail on the head. But I think one thing that Cardano does have going for it that really solidifies its bull status is that academic research. The fact that it's well way ahead of the game in terms of its scientific, revolutionizing and really bringing decentralization to the forefront. And it's a catalyst to bring it to the mainstream. Now, I mean, just looking at some of these articles, crypto, there was Samsung on the verge of participating with Justin Sun. We're going to be getting to that in the future, the crypto. But China's control over foreign entities signals need for decentralization. Now they're actually going to be talking about that in a future video as well. But yeah, so stay tuned. But I mean, definitely interesting point. I think I covered a lot of the topics I wanted to for today, so that we can really reference them back and not have to articulate these things as much in future videos. But all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. Remember to subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next video. Have a good one.